Hi, folks. Let me tell you a little story about my experience with Jeremy Watson. It goes back to, let's say, last summer. My girlfriend and I went to Laughlin, Nevada, and we were staying there for a few days, and we rented a car to go up to Las Vegas. And the car that I rented was a Chevy Cruze. Well, I liked that car, and I knew I was due for an upgrade in the car that I had. So we get back, and I do some online research about cars and stuff, and I kind of picked a Chevy Malibu as the car that I wanted. I already knew what I wanted in it, so I built a homecoming float with the dad of one of my son's classmates, and it was Jeremy, and he was talking about it. Come on out anytime that you want, see what we can do. Well, that was for homecoming, and then later on that November, I kind of said, "Okay, I'm ready to buy a car." So I gave Jeremy a call, and I told him the exact kind of car that I wanted, and he looked in the inventory and okay, he said he'd get back to me, and maybe an hour or two later, he gives me a call. He goes, "Hey, I got the car that you want. You just come in at any time." So I go into there, and I kind of knew what I wanted, and Jeremy was fine with that. I mean, he didn't pressure me. You know how you go to other real dealerships, and you get that one guy that you say this is the car that you want. He says, "Well, do you want this? And you want this? You want this? You want that?" Never had that with Jeremy, and I really enjoyed that because I knew what I wanted. And he didn't push me, didn't prod me, say, "Hey, I got this other car, got this thing." He knew what I wanted, and he let me alone on that. I said that there's only one thing that I want. I wanted tinted windows, and he worked me a deal just right as best as he could. So went in there and that night and drove off in a brand new Chevy Malibu. Didn't have a hitch, nothing. Every time that I went to another dealership, it was like, this is what we got, this is what we need, and it was so mind numbing that it just always turned me off about going to a dealership. So let's fast forward a little bit longer. I go to, the winter was kind of cold, and my car didn't have an auto start, a remote start, I should say. And so I called Jeremy up and I said, "Hey, man, can you look into what it would cost for me to get a remote start put on?" Well, about 5 minutes later, after I get off the phone with him, the guy from service calls me up and says, "Hey, I just talked to Jeremy. He said that you were wanting to know what about a remote start." And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, this is what we can do for you." And drove in, got the remote start put on, and I mean, didn't have anything bad to say. It was amazing the service that I got. Every place else that I've ever went to is like, okay, can this is what it was jumping through hoops, and I was just amazed. In 5 minutes, I had the guy from service call me after I just talked to Jeremy. And another thing is Jeremy's always called me up and said, "Hey, how you doing? Is there anything going on? You need to bring it in for service." Uh, it wasn't one of those things where I kind of roll my eyes or anything like that. It's just that he's there to make sure that I'm still happy with the vehicle that I'm in. And I like that too. He's not trying to pressure me or anything. In fact, there's been several times that Jeremy and I have had lunch just because, you the kind of guy that he is. He's just a great guy to be around. So my experience with Jeremy Watson, no pressure, no kind of pushing, it's amazing. And I just got to say is that just with Jeremy Watson, I am going to be a Chevy driver forever. Uh, I mean, he is my guy. Every time I want a vehicle, he's going to be the guy that I go to. My girlfriend's going to be shopping for a vehicle in the next, few months. She's going to go to Jeremy because she liked the way that he was. Uh, I've told several people to go to see Jeremy. So he is the guy that I am always going to go to. And I just want to thank Jeremy. I love my Chevy Malibu and kind of take pride in it. It's kind of one of the first cars that I actually love taking pride in. And I guess I just want to say is that anybody that wants to buy a Chevy or any kind of used car from Ed Bozarth, Jeremy Watson's the person that you need to go to. And tell your friends, go see Jeremy Watson. Thank you.